Hello everybody, it's Kelly from Loch Briar Knits podcast. This is episode 56 and I'm coming to you from a very dreary, rainy Nova Scotia, Canada. So welcome back to all the new viewers. Thanks so much for coming back, and to all the new viewers, thanks so much for coming by and checking us out. I hope you like what you see. There is a like and subscribe button on one of these sides, which I can never remember. So if you like the podcast, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. The like button will get the word out to other people so they can come and check us out. And the subscribe button will allow you to be notified whenever there's a new podcast. Just hit the little bell and it'll come up in your feed. So yeah, it's been a week. I'll put down below where this is gonna be my action of the day. Where to find me? Most active on Instagram is Kelly L Boyce, and there's an Etsy shop for my hand-dyed yarns, Loch Briar Knits, and we're also Loch Briar Knits on the Ravelry group and Facebook page. I think that's everything, but I'll put it all down below and you can just click down there. So like I said, it's been a week. I'm not going to dwell on it too much here, just to say, Monday night, just as I was getting home from work, our dog took an episode, which we discovered was a cancerous tumor, which nobody knew he had, including him, I think. Ruptured and started bleeding into his stomach. So there really wasn't anything we could do. And at 9.5 years old, we had to put him down. So it's been a rough week. I've done a little stress knitting. I haven't done probably as much knitting as I would have liked to. Usually my knitting time is in the evenings. I'll knit for about an hour while my husband's down in the family room with the dog watching TV, and that was proving a little rough with him being down there without the dog, so I was kind of nixing the knitting time to spend time down there with him. So just so he was a little less upset, if that was possible. I don't know. Anyway, I know any of you who have fur family know exactly what this is like. So anyways, I'm not going to dwell on it, because if I do, I'm just literally going to bawl all through the entire podcast, and nobody needs to see that. Besides, I was feeling very brave today and I put mascara on. So let's get into the knitting content, because I find distraction is very helpful. So I did get some knitting done today, or this week, last 2 weeks. If any of you watched the last podcast, I've got my little foxy mug here today from David's Tea. I'm drinking my regular lemon tea, and it's going to be really hot. I know it is. So, if any of you remember from the last podcast episode, I was knitting the JC cardigan by Isabell Kraemer, and I was having a horrible time just getting past the yoke section. I kept constantly making mistakes, couldn't figure out why. My stitch count was off. So, it happened again. The third time I ripped it all out, started all over again, and this time made a mistake in a totally different section, because every time I redid it, I would make the mistake in a totally different section. Couldn't figure out what I was doing. So finally I just said, you know what? I am just going to set this aside. I am going to go back to it because I really, really love that cardigan and I really want it. So I set that aside. And I started a new sweater because I really want to have a garment on the needles all the time. So I decided I wanted something maybe a little easier. And I am going to do, it's in black and white, so I don't know how well this is going to show up because the lighting, because it's so rainy outside right now and gray, the lighting in here is not the greatest. I guess I'll show up okay. So this is the Granito by Joji Locatelli. So there's pockets here, and I don't think I'm going to do the pockets. I want to be able to wear it to work, which I could wear it to work with pockets, but I think it'll just be a little, maybe a little dressier, or a little, I don't know. To me, not that I think the pockets look messy, but I don't know how well, I've never knit a pocket before, so I don't know how well it would turn out on my first attempt, and I really want to be able to wear this, you know, as an everyday garment, not a kicking around the house garment, like my first sweater pretty much is. Anyway, so yeah, so that's I think I'll do it without the pockets. Now I could get down there and decide I'm feeling really brave and decide to throw the pockets in, but I think it's going to look perfectly fine without the pockets. So that's what we're knitting, and I did cast it on. If I find it here. So I'm knitting this with Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in their Indigo Heather color, which is a purple. See if I can. It looks a little brighter here than it actually is. That kind of shows it up a little. I'm actually sitting back this time because I think it was the last episode I was too close to the camera, so I was trying to show things, but it was like right down near the bottom of the screen, so I've pushed things back a little. So hopefully, I think that shows up pretty well though. But this is Knit Picks Indigo Heather, the Stroll Tweed, and that's fingering weight. And this is what I have done so far. I'm almost ready, I think, to start. I have to knit 6 stitches, or 6 inches there. So I'm almost to 6 inches. Do not fall off. Okay. Okay, wait. I'm going to move this down here. This is another one of my loop bags, by the way, with all my forest creatures on it. So I'm knitting the size small, and this actually does look brighter on camera than it is in real life. It's kind of a deeper color in real life, but you'll see here it's got the little like ridge detail here with the slip stitches, and I love this yarn. It's so soft. So yeah, so that's on both sides, if you can see that. So this is probably what I did. There's some short row shaping, and the pattern calls for wrap and turns. I'm just gonna set this here. I like this color on me too. Yay. Yeah, so there was, sorry. My thought processes are a little all over the place this week. The short rows called for wrap and turns in the pattern, and I did the German short rows, which I learned on the JC sweater and did for the first time. And the JC sweater called for the German short rows, so the pattern was set up for that. This was set up for wrap and turn, so I just watched a tutorial on how to substitute. Oh my god. How to substitute German short rows where they call for a wrap and turn. And basically, if it says to knit to like 5 stitches before like the last wrap and turn, then instead of doing 5, you would do 4 stitches before the wrap and turn, and then you would turn your work and pull up for the German short row. So it was actually very simple to substitute. I was a little nervous because, you know, I wasn't doing so well on the last garment, and I was just like, just no mistakes, no mistakes, please. Although I did make one mistake. Yeah. So right here, so you can sort of see right here on the slip stitches, I either forgot or, no, I think I forgot or I did it on the wrong side. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what I did to get that, but I forgot to do the stitches properly. That much I know. But so far, that's about the extent of it. But I'm gonna probably put a little time in on this today. Yeah, I should be able to. And then I'd love to get it so that the front, this is the back, actually, I believe. Yeah, because we did the short row shaping, so this would be the back. But I'd like to get the back and the back and the front, because that makes sense, right? Done, and get it down to like the part where I'm ready to do the body for the next podcast. We'll see how that goes. But this has been good, because once you're past the short row shaping, then you're basically just doing like 6 inches, or not 6 inches, but like you'll go knit 6 inches from this on the salvage edge. Honestly. Yes, so and then it's just kind of straight knitting in the pattern, which is basically just kind of knit and purl and some slip stitches. So it's been a really good, easy, comfort knit. It's distracting without me having to actually think very hard, which was a godsend this week. So yeah, so I'm looking to put some more time in on that. I have tomorrow off work. I took a vacation day because I have an appointment later in the day, and I just thought I'll just take the day off. So I'm hoping to maybe get some time tomorrow to work on this. So that's that. That's the new cast on. So one of the things, like I said, just 1 second. Put this back in the bag. One of the things about this past week that I discovered was distraction was key. So I took, we had put Cedar down on Monday night, so I took Tuesday off work. I just sent my bosses a text saying, letting them know what had happened. One of my bosses actually has a dog from the same breeder. Here's the story. When my husband and I first got together, we didn't live together for a year between when we started dating, and we had wanted to move in a little earlier, but he had a son and we wanted to have time to have him get to know me. So it was probably about a year and a half before we moved in together. And at the time, my dog had passed away probably about 6 months before I started dating my husband. And I had really, at that time, I was really ready to have another dog. And I have always loved golden retrievers, always wanted a golden retriever. So we found a breeder that wasn't too far from us, like about a 45-minute drive. And she had beautiful dogs. So she had a litter coming up, and we were on the waiting list for that. And so we got a puppy, brought it home, and 2 days later, my stepson was diagnosed with leukemia. So at the time where my husband and I weren't living together yet, we were planning on moving in the coming months, probably in about 5 or 6 months. after his son had time to get to know me, because we dated for a year before we were introduced, which is a whole other story, but whatever. Anyway, so back to the original story. The dog that we originally had, we called Rudy. And I thought, okay, I can't be there for my husband, who's not my husband at the time, but and also be home with the puppy, because if any of you have ever had a puppy, you know, you can't just go and leave for and overnight or whatever. And he was in an apartment that didn't allow pets. So it was kind of a really bad situation. My boss, who has Goldens, was looking for a second dog. He wanted to get a second Golden. So I contacted the breeder. I said, here's the situation. He's willing to take the pup. And, so she was good with that. I said, I can absolutely vouch for him. He's a great dog owner. His dogs are fantastic. He's got room for them to run around. He's right on the water. It was a perfect situation in a bad situation. So he has my original Golden. And then once Riley was starting to do better, and we knew everything there seemed to be going well, about 6 or 9 months after, and then my husband and I were living together, we got Cedar. So my husband, or my boss, is, familiar with our dogs. He's met my dog. I go and visit his anytime his dog does something that he doesn't like, or something silly or whatever. He'll come in and he'll say, your dog. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. I can't even remember where I was going with it. So thing is, they know how much I love my dog. And they knew how upset I was going to be. So they just told me to take Tuesday off, which I did. But I discovered that I was either going to sit there and literally bawl the entire day because I was so upset, or I was going to have to distract myself. So I chose to try to distract myself as much as possible. And I started with cleaning my office here because it was starting to get a little messy, and I knew there was some stuff I had to go through. So I filed like tax receipts, and then I started going through some of my bags, and I was going to knit on my sock for my sister. But here's the thing. As I was going through the bags, I realized I did not just have the sock for my sister, which I did do some knitting on. So let me just show you where I'm at on that one. So these are out of my Shut the Barn Door colorway. I have some of that in the shop right now. If anyone wants to check that out. Look, still has some cedar hair going on there. So I'm ready to pick up the stitches for the gusset. The heel is done. And I was going to pick this up to knit, and then I kind of noticed a couple of other bags, and I knew that I had, so I knew I had this one, which was, take it out of the thing. This is Log House Cottage Yarns, and I had cast this one on because I wanted to try out the flexi flips, which, this is my problem with the flexi flips. I'm used to knitting on magic loop, so I'll be knitting on the flexi flips and forget that this isn't attached, and I keep dropping it. So anyway, although I do like the flexi flips, I do prefer magic loop, but they're a good alternative. So this is Log House Cottage Yarns. So I knew I had this one on the needles, and I keep it in the little thing, which I have probably dropped. God. For any new viewers, if this is a little scattered, I do apologize. I am hoping my brain will be fully functioning once again by episode 57. So let's just, or is this episode 57? No, this is episode 56. I should check that beforehand. Anyway. There we go. Okay, so I knew these ones were on the needles. And check out these crazy colors. Are these not like just insane? So this is Log House Cottage Yarns. They make fantastic yarns. I've knit with quite a few of theirs. So I knew I had that one on the needles. What I did not know is, as I was going along, I also had this one on the needles. And I have a vague memory of casting this on, but it's only very vague. Anyway, so I had like about this much on this, and this was self-striping yarn. And the reason I kind of have a vague memory is that when I started knitting with this, I had no clue it was self-striping. And it's from, I can find the tag in here. Can I find the tag in here? No, apparently I cannot. I don't have the tag in here. But it was, I think, a German yarn. I don't remember where I got it. I think I might have got this in a fiber share swap. But, I mean, I love it. It's like, it's really great. Like, it's got the speckled and then the solids. And I really love how it's turning out. So I had it to about like this much knit, and then I just kind of picked it up and I started knitting on that. But then I was like, you really have to finish your sister's sock. But so I've got this, I have my sister's sock, I've got this one, and then I also remembered, oh yeah, Kelly, you also have, oh no, wait, oh yeah, you also have the one sock out of my Forest Sky Colourway, which is sort of like a micro striping effect when you knit it. I have one sock of that knit. I've had that sock knit for about 2 years now, and I still haven't gotten to the second sock, which is odd because I usually start the second sock right away. So I thought it was in here. It turns out it wasn't. In here was this, which apparently I was knitting a hat. I have no memory of this. I don't know when I started it. I have no clue. This is by, well, it's German. Fortunas. Here we go. So the colorway appears to be Levin. And this is a BFL 7525 BFL nylon base. And this is her tag. So I think I got this in a swap as well. But yeah, apparently I had started knitting a hat. And I'm assuming from the look of it, it's just going to be one of the slouchy sockhead hats that I like. But look at it. It's got great colors in it, like kind of a white base and then these crazy pops of color. So as I'm cleaning my office, I'm finding all of these things that I had cast on, and I don't know. Oh, there's the, so there it is. So then I found this bag, which has this all wound up. And I'm guessing from the size of the needles, I was also planning on doing a hat. Yes, because I have the sockhead hat pattern in here. but I don't have the tag. So I have no idea, like, what yarn this is. But look at it. It's beautiful. It's got kind of like this sagey gray base. Is that a thing? Sagey gray? It'd make a beautiful hat though, wouldn't it? Although now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think I'd like this in a pair of socks because clearly I don't have enough socks cast on. This is in my my Needles Craft bag, the owl bag. That's really nice. I like this one. There we are. There's the Forest and Sky. And that kind of does like this really cool micro striping. So I have one of these made, and then I still have to cast on the second one. I love this. I need to make some more of this. I love how that knits up, the micro striping. So, yeah, as I was distracting myself, I discovered that I have a crazy amount of like little whips of socks and hats and I had no idea about. And I'm thinking, how do you do that? Like, how do you just cast something on and then like look at it who knows how many months later? And I have literally no recollection. I can vaguely remember the sock because I remember being surprised that it was self-striping. I have no recollection about the hat. I don't know when that happened. Did I mention it on a past podcast? Because if I don't remember it and I mentioned it on a podcast and I still don't remember it. Anyway, so I do apparently have quite a few whips in the go. That being said, I'm gonna put this back in here before I forget. I did cast on something else, but this was something that just sort of allowed me to work down in front of the TV when I was hanging out with my husband, and it was something I had planned on casting on to get rid of some of my scrappy bits. So I did purchase, let's see if I can get this up here. I did purchase this basket from a homespun house. She sells these baskets. They're part of the fair trade thing. I don't know what you call that, but all the baskets are made by these ladies. And I want to say Guatemala, but I don't know if that's right. I'd have to go back and listen to her podcast. But she talks about these on her podcast, and the women get a livable wage. I guess their families get full health coverage. The school is paid for their kids. So it's a really great, you get a beautiful basket and somebody else gets to take care of their family by providing these. So that's not a bad deal in my estimation. And I think Molly calls this the Cozy Memories basket because you can fit all your scraps in the Cozy Memory Blanket in it. Now, I'm not doing a Cozy Memory Blanket, but I did start, and I was just grabbing random things. So this one here at the tail end that I started with really doesn't match very well. But I'm like, it's just going to be a scrappy blanket. And I'm basically I'm knitting it in the style of the shawl that I'm designing. Because what I wanted to use it for was I want to get up to the amount of stitches that I think I need for the shawl. Just to get a sense of, is that going to be large enough? And if not, I'll keep going until I kind of hit the size that I want. Because it's in fingering weight, which is what I'll be using. And then that will let me know how many stitches I need on the needles and also allow me to do a scrappy blanket in the process. So I'm literally, even though when I reach the size that I want the shawl to be, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make this like more blanket size. So I've just been like kind of picking away at that, and then every few sections I'll weave in the ends, so I'm not doing a whole, you know, like, oh, if I had to weave in the ends at at the end of this, that'd be a lot of ends. So I'm just weaving them in pretty much as I go. But I like it. It's kind of fun. It's mindless. I'm not worrying too much about, you know, do the colors go together or whatever, because I've got like a real mix of stuff. I've got some minis. I've got leftover stuff, like, you know, really, where's that going to fit in? I don't know. But I've got a lot of pinks and grays, and then I've got like little bits here that I'll throw in. I've got a bag of minis here from, I think this is from Evie Knits. So yeah, I've got like, there's a lot of leftover scraps, and you know, every time I do, some pair of socks or something, there's always leftover bits. So there'll be more getting added to this. And really, once this is the size I want it to be and I'm ready to bind off, I'm just going to start another one or another kind of similar project to that. But I'm just keeping it all right in my Cozy Memories basket. So yeah, so I'll put a link down to Homespun House down below if any of you guys want to check it out. Oops, there. Stay. So yeah, so that was my purchase. I don't think I purchased anything else. It was pretty good. Oh, I did. Sorry. Liar. So I figured, since I was ordering from a Homespun House, and getting stuff sent to me. Oops, I got stuff all over me. I'd get one of her yarns while I was there, because, oh my god, I love her yarns. So this one is called Conspiracy, and I got this in her, I think it's called her Soft Sock Base. I could be wrong. Where's my glasses? I can't see it. Yeah, soft sock. So 75% merino, 25 nylon. But, I mean, oh my god, let me just see if I can. Like, seriously, look at those colors. Molly does such an amazing job. She's probably one of my favorite hand dyers. So, there we go. Just gonna, there. So that was my one purchase. The basket and the yarn. Did I say I was on a yarn diet? Yeah. Whatevs. So anyway, that I haven't decided what I'm gonna make with that yet. I did do her Game of Thrones sock club. Oh my god, my brain is fried. My brain is completely fried. But I did her sock club. That was for 3 months. So there is one skein. This is the one skein that didn't quite fit with the other ones. So I might do something. These might work together. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do something with these two together, or I don't know. I kind of want to do this in a shawl and see what it happens. See what it looks like mixed with some solid colors. I don't know. We'll see. So that was my purchase. And that's really kind of all that's been going on. I did make a purchase for a new pattern by Isabell Kraemer. I think it's a new pattern. I can't remember the name of it. I'm totally blanking. I'm going to put it here. And I'm trying to figure out how you insert a picture so that it just shows up like maybe around here on the screen. And for the life of me, I can't figure out how to do that in iMovie. So if any of you guys are familiar with iMovie and you know how to do that, hit me up. Let me know, because I haven't been able to figure it out yet. And I'm fairly computer savvy, so I can't figure out. I just haven't taken a whole lot of time, because I'm usually in the middle of editing when I'm doing it, thinking I'd like to be able to do that. And then I'm just like, no, I got to get this editing done because I have to get it up by tonight, and I don't have a whole lot of time to spend with it. So whatever. That's my story. So anyway, oh my God, people. Are any of you still here? Have I chased you all away? Oh, okay. So my point being, I will insert a picture either here if I can figure it out, or I'll just sort of stop and then insert it and then carry on. So I think that's going to be maybe next in my queue. But I would really love to have the JC cardigan done by the time fall rolls around, or at least have it done by mid-fall. I don't know if I'm not mentally ready to tackle that one right now. I'm going to stick with the Granito, finish that, and then I'll decide whether I want to do the Isabell Kraemer or the other Isabell Kraemer. I will have an Isabell Kraemer sweater of some sort in my wardrobe by the fall, because I love her patterns. So anyways, I think that is really about everything I've got. It's just been kind of picking away at small, simple projects that I don't have to expend a lot of brain power on. I did do a shop update last weekend. I think it was last Saturday. So there's a couple of new colorways in the shop, so I'll just show you really quick. We got Peach Pit. Nope, I keep calling it Peach Pit because it looks like a peach pit. It's called It's the Pits. So this is in all my bases, basically BFL, MCN, and 75-25 sock. So there's some of that back in the shop. This one was a big favorite last summer, so I thought it'd be good to bring that back. This is, Madmen Know Nothing. Nice little purpley mauve color in this one. Some speckles. So that's on the 3 bases. This one is Morning Has Broken, so it's on a nice kind of pale gray base with all these sort of bright little pops and specks of color. Oops. I really love how this one turned out. It's got these, I love the gray base to it, and then kind of like the nice little pops and speckles. So those are the 3 new colorways that were in the shop. I am going to try to maybe get some knit or some dyeing done maybe today or tomorrow morning before my appointment. We'll see if I can squeeze that in. So those are the new ones. Those are in the shop now. Shop link is right here down below. And yeah, so that was that. So life stuff. Yeah, we've kind of covered the dog, and really that's sort of pretty much overshadowed everything. So, my husband and I did watch Chernobyl on HBO, which if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend. It was so good. It was like tragic. Like there's a lot of stuff, layers to it that at the time, because it happened back in 86, so I would have been 19 when it happened. Yeah, I just turned 19. So there's a lot of like levels and layers to it that I had no idea about. But yeah, it was, and then I was kind of got sucked down the rabbit hole and was kind of reading about it online and getting some more information. But it was so well done. It was really well done. I highly recommend that. We finished watching Game of Thrones, which I think I may be one of the few people that really liked how it ended, but I'm not going to say any spoilers just in case there's some people that haven't seen it yet. And I'm still working on my book, trying to finish Kate Morton's The Clockmaker's Daughter, which is so good, and I'm so close to being done. I just didn't have the brain power this week to kind of, excuse me, to concentrate on it. So I just, I think I read one night this week, and that was about it. My niece gave me this. Let's see if you can see it. She came down the day after and gave me a little pendant for my necklace with a little paw print on it because she was sorry. She really liked cedar, so I thought that was really sweet. My sister raises good kids. So that was about it. I think last weekend we did get down to Mahone Bay for the day. And I went into, I always call it the yarn barn. It's called Have a Yarn. Have a Yarn. And I was looking around in there. I didn't buy anything because I was trying to really sort of keep my spending to a minimum. And the shop that had all the cool mugs that I liked wasn't open, and I don't know if they've like closed down for good. So yeah, so I did get this watch. Well, my husband got this watch for me. I really liked it. It was, I don't know if you can see it very well. There you go. So it's like on a red strap. I love red things. So we got that. And that was about it. Yesterday we went out. Yesterday was sunny. It has been raining here nonstop. We get like about 6 days of rain and then 1 day of sun, but it's not warm. It's not that warm. So yesterday was sunny, and apparently they said it was like 19 degrees Celsius, but it didn't feel like that when we were out, because we were out about noon hour, and I find we never really feel the optimum heat until like about between 2 and 6 o'clock. So it was still a little chilly when we were out with a bit of a breeze, but it was beautiful. Like the tulips were up, and the flowers were starting to bloom, which is so nice to see. And it was just nice to get outside, and it's still a little hard being in the house without the dog. So I think we've been looking for excuses to, distract ourselves. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on. I'm really hoping to get a good dent put in some of my sweater. I will definitely have, I'm trying to figure out where I put it now. Oh. I'm definitely going to have my sister's second sock done. I may try to finish that this weekend, actually, before I go back to the sweater. And then I'd like to get a good dent in the other socks I've got going on. The hat I may just leave until later on. I'm not going to be wearing it right now. Although if it doesn't warm up, I may. So we'll do that. And yeah, so I think that's about it. We did get our bikes back from the cycle shop, so we're all ready to start trail biking again, if the weather would cooperate. And that is about everything. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to try to get a little dyeing and knitting in today. And I will see you guys back here for the next episode, I hope. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I promise next episode I will try to be a little less scattered and all over the place. And until then, I hope you guys have a great 2 weeks and happy knitting. See ya!